Hi, welcome to the video. So I just want to go over the decree that started Daniel's 70 weeks. There is a view out there where people believe that it started destruction, when the Solomon Temple was destroyed. And I just want to go over that a little bit, that that's not what the text says. So if we look at Daniel 9:25, all right, it said, "Know therefore and understand that from the going out of the word to restore and build Jerusalem to the coming of an anointed one, apparent there should be 7 weeks." So stop right there. It says nothing about destruction of the temple. And those who hold that view, they believe this is Solomon's temple that starts this 70 weeks. And they place it around 420 BC. And the temple is not destroyed in 420 BC anyway. It's actually destroyed in 586 BC. You'll have access to the timeline, by the way. So this is basically a range from roughly 612 BC all the way through to 457 BC. That's based on this source right here. So you just click on it, it'll bring you right to this this article here. And somebody did their homework figuring out when did it actually start, when the temple was actually destroyed, so forth. So it was 586 BC, not 420 BC, and you can take that to the bank. Okay, it was not destroyed 420 BC. So this is the timeline surrounding the events surrounding destruction of the temple, the 70-year captivity, 70-year rest. Okay, it was all during this time. There's just absolutely no credibility to the Solomon Temple being destroyed around 420 BC. And again, the text does not say in Daniel 9:25 going forth of the destruction of the temple. Now, those who hold that view, I try piecing together, trying to make it work, okay, with their view, not my view, but their view, okay? And the best case scenario, I came up with this timeline right here. So, if you scroll up, you have the years laid out here. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So these are the years, okay? And then I have several different scenarios trying to make it work with their view. Again, not my view. And this is the best case scenario right here, this one right here. So it has to line up with the established years of the Jubilee year cycle. First off, the Jubilee year cycle is the 50-year cycle, but the 50th year only takes place if they're together in the land. Okay, and I go over this in my video right here. If you click on this video here, I go over it in more detail. If you want more detail on that, I give you the resources on that as well. But they were not together in their land. Okay, they were scattered. So they only had 49-year cycles. And so Daniel's 70 weeks is actually the 10 49-year cycles for a total of 490 years. And so that's what this is right here. So this is the first 49-year cycle. The second, you see number 2, third, number 3, fourth, number 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Okay. So the first one, in order to get the line up to established years, you have to start with 421 BC. Alrighty. And you end up getting to 69 BC or 69 AD. Right, AD 69, or the year 3829 break year, and so AD 69 would have been the established year, by the way. But anyway, but it falls short from their view. Now, in their view, not my view, suggests that the consummation has to happen inside that 70th week. All right, and it doesn't work with their view. And here they are espousing this view. The timeline does not work. And so you can't make it work. So the mistakes they make is Daniel 9:24. They think that Daniel 9:24 is required that these 6 things have to happen inside that 70th week. It's required in their mind of the text. But if you read the text carefully, is it really required? No, it's not. Okay, it's associated to the 70 weeks somehow. Okay, we can conclude that. It results in the 70 week, paraphrasing a little bit here. So it's to do that. To result in this, to result in that, to result in this, to result in that. So because of what happened in those 70 weeks, it results in things. So in other words, those 70 weeks are pretty powerful. All right, major. Right? Are you with me so far? So anyway, long story short, their review does not work, and it's really taking off. And I'm not going to mention any names, but we have to understand something too, is that Daniel 9:25 is associated, where it said, "No, therefore understand that from the going out of the word to restore and build Jerusalem." It's tied to Daniel's prayer, all right? Keep in mind, Daniel's prayer is not about building walls. It's about dealing with the sin of the people, and about transgression of law, sin, and forgiveness, all right? So that's where the idea of restore here, Daniel 9:25, my understanding anyway, okay? So, what decree, what word is it talking about? And I believe it was in Ezra, chapter 7, 21 to 28. And in there, let's just start halfway through 25. "Beyond the river, all such as know the laws of your God, and those who do not know them you shall teach. Whoever will not obey the law of your God and the law of the king, let judgment be strictly executed on him, whether for death or for banishment or for confiscation of his goods or for imprisonment. Blessed be the Lord, the God of our fathers, who put such a thing as this into the heart of the king, to beautify the house of the Lord," again, restore, "that is in Jerusalem," where? Jerusalem, restore Jerusalem, "and who extended to me his steadfast love." Okay, so I think you get the drift. But this is the decree right here. Alrighty, right here. Make a decree, okay? So this is the restoration of Jerusalem, alright? You see right there, Jerusalem, alright? So that is what's tied to Daniel 9:25, I believe, alright? So there are other decrees that were made in various years, okay? But the one I just mentioned, Ezra, the sacrifice resumed in 457 BC, 458 when the wall, I believe the walls were built, okay? So 457 when, again, the sacrifice resumed, and they would have started the full year of reaping and harvesting their grains in the fields, okay? So that would have been the start of the Jubilee year cycles. And so that's what I have up here. And it works perfectly. All right, it worked perfectly with what Josephus wrote. It had it happen in 44 BC. If you just click on this, it'll bring you right to the article. Okay, so you can see for yourself. It worked perfectly with Luke 4:19 as well, being the Sabbath year, which has been 80-27. So really what's going on here, Daniel 9, the prince here consistently Jesus Christ, the Messiah the Prince, anointed one. All right, Messiah means anointed, by the way. So it's consistently referring to him, and he shall make a strong covenant with many for 1 week, and that's exactly what he did in the last 7 years at the end of the 70th week. He 3.5 year ministry. And in the middle of the week, he put an end to sacrifice offering. This is not referring to Elazar in 80-66. There's another passage for that. Let's just go there for a second. I remember having a conversation with somebody who made that mistake. It's Daniel 12:11. Daniel 12:11, I talked about the end of sacrifice offering. That has to do with Elazar in August 14th of 80-66, where he put an end to the sacrifice and offering. All right, and that was the day the laws were revealed, and that was the day that the restrainer died, his dad died. August 14th of 80-66 is a big day in Judeo-Christian history, all right? So that had to do with Daniel 12:11, not Daniel 9:27, all right? Daniel 9:27 has to do with Messiah the Prince, okay? The he here is, if you follow basic rule of grammar, it's referring to Messiah, the prince, anointed one, a prince, okay? It cannot be referring to anybody else, all right? And so that's what happened when he was on the cross. He made a strong covenant running for 1 week. 1 week again, he ministry first 3.5 years. In the middle, he cut off, put an end to sacrifice offering. And in the last half, it made it strong. How so? The gospel went to the Jews first. All right, and that's what made the covenant strong. And then, I believe the very day after Daniel's 70 weeks, with Acts chapter 10, that was the very first day after. And that was when the gospel went to the Cornelius household, the Gentile household. Peter shared the gospel with them. That was the official transition, gospel going from Jew to Gentile. But Peter's not apostle to the Gentiles, apostle to the Jews, okay? And so Paul took on that scene afterwards, all right? So that was just the official transition, which is a big deal, huge, monumental in history. But that's all happened with Peter and the Cornelius household, that official transition. And he did not make an apostle to the Gentiles. Matter of fact, afterwards, in Galatians chapter 2, verse 7, Paul pointed out that that Peter was apostle to the circumcision, the Jews, and Paul himself was apostle to the Gentiles. All right? So this was after Acts chapter 10 occurred. All right? So if there's any confusion there, let Galatians 2:7 correct it. All right? So there's a lot of confusion in Christianity today on that subject. So anyway, I believe that's all I pretty much wanted to cover. So yeah, so I just want to get across, this is the decree that started Daniel's 70 weeks. Alrighty. Yeah, again, I strongly encourage you to look in this timeline, this right here. This is a great source. They did their homework. Kudos to them. They did a phenomenal job. They were able to locate all this. So I can say with utmost confidence, all this is very accurate. All this right here, including the destruction of the temple. It was of Solomon's temple. It was not destroyed in 420 or 421 BC. And if you go with that, none of it works, the timeline. I tried all the scenarios that the resource, I don't want to mention any name, but the resource that this came from, and I tried to even go above and beyond what he obviously did not have drawing software, above and beyond to try to make it work, knowing full well it's going to work anyway, and it just doesn't work. No matter how hard you try, it does not work. And they still double down, triple down, quadruple down. They still go forward with it, thinking they're on the right trail. And it kind of scratches your head a little bit, like, what does it take for them to see that maybe they're not going down the right path? You know, and these folks got holiness view. They have a lot of great teaching. I am not saying again, I'm not mentioning any name, but yeah, there's a lot of great teaching that comes from these guys. A lot of great stuff. I just wish that they had drawing software. They could really piece it together themselves. Whether they ever do that in their lifetime or not, I don't know. But I'm confident they did. They'd be glad over time. They'd be like, okay, wow, what we've been teaching here and there, bits and pieces here and there, have been way off. And boy, glad we bought the software. I hope that happens. I kind of doubt it will, but anyway, yeah, so that's the point of this video. This is the decree right here that started Daniel's 70 weeks. That I believe so anyway. Now, if you think there's a different decree, I'd love to hear it. Show me the verse, show me the passage, a different decree that Daniel 9:25 is talking about that you believe is to start Daniel's 70 weeks. This right here. Going forth of the word to restore. You think it's a different one? I'd love to hear it in the comment below. So, alrighty. Thank you very much for watching, and hope you continue to enjoy your studies. And you'll have access to both these PDFs in the description below, this one and this one. All right. Thank you very much.